Hello everybody, this is Lavinia the Cat, and today I will be reading The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen. Now this apparently was a request by a star princess of the cosmic galaxy. She wanted me to read this story. So, for the season 1 finale of Sonic and Friends Read, I think this is a great idea to end this season with this original fairy tale. So without further ado, let's get started. It was so glorious out in the country. It was summer. The cornfields were yellow, the oats were green. They had been put up in stacks in the green meadows, and the stork went about on his long red legs and chattered Egyptian, for this was the language he had learned from his good mother. All around the fields and meadows were great forests, and in the midst of these forests lay deep lakes. Yes, it was right glorious out in the country. In the midst of the sunshine there lay an old farm, with deep canals about it, and from the wall down to the water grew great burdocks, so high that little children could stand upright under the loftiest of them. It was as wild there as in the deepest forest. And here sat a duck upon her nest. She had to hatch her ducklings, but she was almost tired before the little ones came, and then she so seldom had visitors. The other ducks liked better to swim about in the canals than to run up to sit under the burdock and cackle with her. At last, one eggshell after another burst open. Beep, beep, it cried. And in all the eggs there were little creatures that stuck out their heads. Quack, quack, they said. They all came quacking out as fast as they could, looking all around them under the green leaves, and the mother let them look as much as they choose, for green is good for the eye. How wide the world is, said all the young ones, for they certainly had much more room now than when they were in their eggs. Do you think this is all the world, said the mother, that stretches far across the other side of the garden, quite into the parson's fields? But I have never been there yet. I hope you are all together. And she stood up. No, I have not all. The largest egg still lies there. How long is that to last? I am really tired of it. And she sat down again. Well, how goes it? Asked an old duck who had come to pay her a visit. It lasts a long time with that one egg, said the duck who sat there. It will not burst. Now only look at the others. Are they not the prettiest little ducks one could possibly see? They are all like their father, the rogue. He never comes to see me. Let me see the egg which will not burst, said the old visitor. You may be sure if it is a turkey's egg. I was once cheated in that way, and had much anxiety and trouble with the young ones, for they are afraid of the water. Must I say it to you? I could not get them to venture in. I quacked and I clacked, but it was no use. Let me see the egg. Yes, that's a turkey's egg. Let it lie there, and teach the other children to swim. I think I will sit on it a little longer, said the duck. I've sat there so long that I can sit a few days more. Just as you please, said the old duck, and she went away. At last the great egg burst. "Beep, beep," said the little one, and crept forth. It was very large and very ugly. The duck looked at it. "It's a very large duckling," she said. "None of the others look like that. None of the others look like that. Can it really be a turkey chick? Well, we shall soon find out. It must go into the water, even if I have to thrust it in myself." The next day it was bright, beautiful weather. The sun shone on all the green trees. The mother duck went down to the canal with all her family. Splash! She jumped into the water. "Quack, quack," she said. And one duckling after another plunged in. The water closed over their heads, but they came up in an instant and swam capitally. Their legs went up of themselves, and they were all in the water. The ugly gray duckling swam with them. "No, it's not a turkey," said she. "Look how well it can use its legs, and how straight it holds itself. It is my own child. On the whole, it's quite pretty, if one looks at it rightly. Quack, quack, come with me, and I'll lead you out into the great world, and present you to the duck yard. But keep close to me, so that no one may tread on you, and take care of the cats." And so they came into the duck yard. There was a terrible riot going on in there, for two families were quarreling about an eel's head, and the cat got it after all. See how that goes in the world?" said the mother duck, and wetted her beak, for she too wanted the eel's head. "Only use your legs," she said. "See that you can bustle about and bow your heads before the old duck yonder. She's the grandest of all here. She's the grandest of all here. She's of Spanish blood. That's why she's so fat. And did you see? She has a red rag around her leg. That's something particularly fine. In the greatest distinction, a duck can enjoy it. It signifies that one does not want to lose her, and that she's to be known by the animals and by men too. Shake yourselves. Don't turn in your toes. And a well brought up duck turns her toes quite out, just like father and mother. So now bend your necks and say quack." And they did so. But the other ducks round about looked at them and said quite boldly, "Look there! Now we're to have these hanging on, as if there were not enough of us already. And fie, I think that's how it's pronounced, I'm sorry. How that duckling yonder looks! We won't stand that." And one duck flew up at it and bit it in the neck. "Let it alone," said the mother. "It does no harm to anyone." "Yes, but it's too large and peculiar," said the duck who had bitten it, "and therefore it must be put down." "Those are pretty children that the mother has there," said the old duck, with the rag round her leg. "They're all pretty, but that was rather unlucky. I wish you could bear it over again." "That cannot be done, my lady," replied the mother duck. "It is not pretty, but it has a really good disposition, and swims as well as any other. Yes, I may even say it. Swims better. I think it will grow up pretty, and become smaller in time. It has lain too long in the egg, and therefore is not properly shaped. And then she pinched it in the neck and smoothed its feathers. Moreover, it is a drake, she said, and therefore it is not of so much consequence. I think he will be very strong. He makes his way already. And this is where I will stop for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 of Lavinia the Cat Reads the Ugly Duckling.